Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Stories podcast. And this is our second episode. Wow, today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. So stick with me. So, if this is your first time that you're here in this space, please consider subscribing to this channel because I'll be bringing a lot of guests to talk about their stories because I believe that our stories can only be told best by us because we carry them along each and every moment, each and every time of the day. We go through different phases of life, and we can only tell these stories best when they come from our mouths. And so today we're going to talk about a very important topic, and I feel like this is very, very, very important for everyone who is in his 20s. And I feel it's something that I did not experience fully, and I feel like it's very important. Like people start seeing, embracing this aspect. Today we're going to talk about mentorship. Yes, we're going to talk about mentorship. You know, when I was growing up, I didn't have a chance to have so many people to look up to. And also, I didn't have people to tell me, you know what, you're going to have to be this and this. So I grew up knowing, I would want to be, but I didn't have somebody to look up to say, you know what, this is the person I'm looking up to. And I didn't have someone who was like working with me day in, day out, or maybe in different phases of my life to encourage me and to tell me, like, you have very wild dreams, and these dreams can be achieved if you do this and this. All I grew up seeing, and especially in my 20s, I've come to realize that there are people who are very privileged, and they have realized these at a very early stage. The idea of mentorship is a very, very big topic, and I believe that if you're in your 20s, because this is the time that you have the energy, the time that you have time, the time that you have room to try new things, the time that you have time to experience things that you've never experienced before. This is the period where if you lack good mentorship, you might find yourself in the bad side of life. You might find yourself making very crazy decisions. And I have seen that. I've made very crazy decisions in my 20s, and I've seen also my colleagues, people we went to school with in high school and in campus. I've seen these guys making crazy mistakes because we didn't have somebody to mentor us. And let me tell you, from the culture that or the community I come from, mentorship is not a big thing. Mentorship is not viewed like a very big developmental need for young people. And so you just grow up in a community whereby you're told you need to go to school, and you some of us used to go to school because it was like a must. It was like a formality actually, because your parents told you like you have to go to school. Because some of our parents never had a chance to go to school, or if they had a chance to go to school, they did not have like the experience, the exposure to the world of education. So they were just sending us to school just to make sure that you know we are in school. We are in school, but there is nobody who is walking with you in that journey of being in school and trying to identify what is your potential. And we grew up in a very I would say very complex society that does not, it knows what education is, but it doesn't know what to what extent should we embrace or should we nurture um, children that are going in this system of education to be able to realize their full potential. So I grew up in that kind of a setting, and I remember sometimes I was being sent away for home, and I could see like there's no need for me to be in school. There's no any need to continue going to school. And at some point, I almost like dropped out of school, and because I didn't have somebody to tell me like if you stick with this plan, this is the end goal. And for many young people, um, and especially people in their 20s, they lose focus when they do not have somebody who is mentoring them. And sometimes looking for a mentor can be very challenging if maybe you're not like an outgoing person, or maybe like for myself, growing up in this kind of a community where you don't see the value of having a mentor. So approaching somebody to ask them to be your mentor, it's a big thing. It's a big toll. It's a toll on you. Like you don't consider that as like a need, like a developmental need, when you're in your 20s. And so I realized that, after going to college, for my undergraduate, and now interacting with different people from different faces or from different communities, and people with different capabilities, or maybe professional capabilities than I had. And I realized, these people had a very unique thing. They had mentors. And for the first time, I decided to look for a mentor. I think it was too late, because if I wish I could have done it before. And when I did that, everything changed, because I started seeing now my life in a different way. I started seeing my educational journey in a different way. I started making a very sound decisions. It's the same thing. We when a child is sent to school, and especially in Africa, is sent to school to just go and learn what what the system demands them, or demands like every kid to study. And we are not taught the some specifics um, that we need to have for us to develop, and for us to be able to depend on ourselves in our 20s. And I'm saying this because after coming here to the United States, I've realized like somebody who is in his early 20s is way much ahead than someone like myself who is in his late 20s. And when I you know try to find where is the thin line. The thin line lies that this young person from here in the United States, has a very huge support system. You know, some people will say, United States is a developed country, and so they have access to almost everything. But let me tell you, yes, they do have access, but not to everything, because there's still people who are still struggling in their 20s here. So, but majority of them, at least they have people who are encouraging them, people who are working with them in their academic journey, and that's students from high school coming for career advice. In the university, and they could come, and it's like they're coming for a tour, but in real sense they're trying to be mentored for what is gonna they're gonna experience when they graduate from high school and they are ready to go to campus. Such things never happened, or I never saw something like that while I was in school back in Africa. And I feel like most young people in Africa are losing track, because there's nobody to mentor them. There's nobody to show them the way. There's nobody, and even those who have made it in life, regardless of the numbers, they're not willing to. They have not embraced the idea of mentoring people. And it's high time for young people now to realize like we need mentors. Some of the challenges that we are going through as young people, they can be avoided if we have somebody who we can talk to and they can guide us. Things like, let's talk about like financial education. I cannot remember anywhere in my academic journey that I stepped into a class and I was taught how to deal with money. I went to a business class, but don't remember anywhere in I was taught how to deal with money. And so you grow up with some characteristics that you saw maybe from your parents, or maybe from your elder siblings, and how to deal with money. And they also learned from from the environment within them. But there are people out there who are very dedicated, who are very willing to help, but they cannot help us if we don't speak up. We don't say, like, we need this kind of help. And so it was a challenge for me, even in my late 20s, in matters concerning how to deal with money. Issues to do with relationships, like, how do we identify, you know, people to associate with. Some of the things we might feel like they are not like a big thing, but they really are. So I feel like in my 20s, I made some decisions that I could have avoided if I had somebody to open up to. And when and not necessarily to open up to, but somebody to walk with me in that journey. Because that's when I had a lot of potential, and I had a lot of time to try out so many things. And so if you're in your 20s, and maybe you're stuck in the bubble I was stuck like some few years ago, wake up. Wake up. Look for a mentor. Look for someone who is doing some of the things that you feel like, this is what I want to do in life. This is something that I want to pursue in life. If you want to if you want to go to, or maybe concentrate in certain field, for example, let's say, for example, farming, because so many young people currently are embracing farming, then look for somebody who is doing farming. If you want to get into business, look for somebody who is already in business, and is doing good in business. If you want to go to the academic world, then look for somebody who's gone through that. Approach them, tell them, ask them whether they are willing to be your mentors. And let me tell you, things will change when you open up. Every young person who is in his 20s or her 20s should have a mentor. And if you don't have a mentor and you're in your late 20s, it's not too late. Please wake up, look for a mentor, speak up. These people are out there to help us. And so I feel like that is very, very important for me to share, because I know there's so many people who are going through the same things, silly mistakes that I did early in my 20s, and if they had like somebody to walk them through that journey of deciding what they want to be in future, we could be very far as far as this economy is concerned. And so, yeah, guys, I felt like that is very important for me to share today. And so tomorrow, or maybe in our next episode, we're going to talk about a different topic. But if you're watching this video and you do not have a mentor, please know that you're losing it. Know that you're losing something very important. Go and look for a mentor. Look for somebody who aligns with some of the things that you're happy doing, that fulfills your lives when you do them, and approach them. Tell them, I am so much interested in what you're doing. Would you want to be my mentor? And believe you me, things will be different. So thank you very much for sticking with me up to this moment. Hope to see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.